Let's get. Okay, hi, welcome. I'm Jeff York. I'm the head of the DRB here in Jericho. We go over the agenda here. We'll talk about the rules. We'll go over the agenda. Make sure I swear people in. I think I forgot to do that this last month. We have one item of old business, a request to the DRB by Don and Bonnie Morin for a preliminary final plat review on 37 River Road into 8-lot subdivision. We talked about that last time, and who's here to talk about that? We have two items of new business: the request to the DRB by Ivan and Margaret Hendee, Revocable Trust for a final plat review of a 2-lot subdivision at 136 Packard Road in the low density residential district. Again, okay. A request to the DRB by Brendan Driscoll for a sketch plan review for a 4-lot subdivision located at 105 Bolger Hill Road in both the forestry and low density residential zoning district. Thank you. And we have some minutes to approve, and then we'll adjourn the meeting and go into deliberative session. So, you know how the airline has that little video they show you? I think I'm making a little video about it.
Same way for you to get filled when if there's signing, okay.
Okay. These proceedings will be conducted in an orderly manner consistent with the DRB rules and procedures. Written copies of the rules of procedure are available, but we will walk through the process. You don't need a copy of them. First item is to ask the board about any conflict of interest or ex parte communication from board members on the item related to that. No?
No.
Okay. Then I'm going to talk about interested persons, and then I'm going to swear everybody in. Interested persons are those who under Vermont law have the right to appeal an act or decision of the Jericho zoning administrator or the DRB. Those people include the applicant, or if the applicant does not own the property, the person owning title to the property, a person owning or occupying property in the immediate neighborhood of the property that is the subject of any zoning decision or act, who can demonstrate a physical or environmental impact on the person's interest under the criteria review, and who alleges that the decision or act, if confirmed, will violate the municipal plan or bylaw. And the last group of interested persons are any 10 persons, either voters or landowners, who by signed petition to the DRB allege that the decision or act, if confirmed, will violate the municipal plan or bylaw. The petitioners must designate one person to serve as their representative. Though many members of the public may be interested in the application, only statutorily defined interested persons may appeal a decision of the zoning officer of DRB. If an interested person fails to make timely appeal, they are bound by the officers or DRB's decision or act. The person must participate in a hearing to protect their appeal rights. Only those interested persons who have participated in the DRB proceeding may appeal a decision re-entered in a proceeding in environmental court. Participation consists of offering through oral or written testimony, evidence, or a statement of concern related to the subject of the proceeding. If there is to be an appeal, the DRB does not determine who is an interested person. That is part of the appeal process. But we do need to establish who participated. So we ask two things. One, if you're in the room, make sure that you signed in so that we have your information. And if you're on the Zoom call, make sure you provide either moderator or post your name and address, and contact information so that we have that for the records to determine interested person. So the next thing is I'm going to read the oath, and if you're going to give testimony tonight, I'll ask you to say, I do. I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalty of perjury.
I do.
Okay, thank you. So first item, the item of old business at 37 Road.
So you talked about the video, Jeff. In most towns, the first order of business for the chair is to have the vice chair do all that. Almost every town.
I'm gonna vice chair. I'm not-
I'm gonna take that big.
So
How about the newest member of the board?
you're the chair, so. The Morins, Don and Bonnie Morin are right behind me here. We were just in previously, at that time, it was warned for your last hearing, it was warned for a preliminary final. It ended up being preliminary because we had the physical address instead of post office box for Underhill. And Underhill submitted a letter that day of potential interest. That the preliminary was closed and approved, final was continued to tonight. And since that time, I followed up with Brad Holden, making sure that he understood the premise of this project, that yes, it's 8 lots, but
Brad
it's
Holden?
the Underhill town administrator. That yes, it's an 8-lot subdivision, but it's a maximum of 4 new homes, 2 sewage lots, the existing lot. And then also touched on traffic being controlled by V-Trans, and that we are pathetically below any trigger for V-Trans for traffic study, and also way below any town standard for traffic study. I hadn't heard back from them, so about a week ago, I reached out to him again, and he said they weren't, what they submitted was what they're submitting. They weren't following up with anything else in regards to this project. Since the preliminary, Andrew had the question on the barn on lot 6. The intention was that the right-of-way was going to be set to meet the front yard setback to that existing barn on lot 6. Indeed, it was not. We shifted the boundary of lot 6 down so that it meets the setback about not quite 1.5 feet. So lot 6 grew a little bit, lot 7 grew a little bit, and lot 5 and 8 shrunk the same amount. And we also added trees to lots 1, 2, 4, and 7. And there's also a detail for those trees. I think there was 3 sheets that were touched with revision, and PDFs and hard copies of the new set were sent to staff about, I don't know, about a week after the last hearing, I think. That's it since the last time we were in.
So do we have a planting plan?
Yes.
We do.
Yep.
And there are no issues with that planting plan,
No.
the regulations?
No, the species picked as an acceptable species, you know, for the town. The tree warden that we have, basically he gave me a list of species that are not invasives, that work and things along those lines. So it does, and basically the tree details here and the landscape is here. I can pull it up and make it bigger if you guys want to see it, but the plans have been amended to reflect that change.
It meets all of our town rules for
Yeah.
this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CD4 district didn't have, with the alley, doesn't have the street trees. It has I had the language last time, but basically it wasn't cluster, but you know, we did the 2 trees per lot on those new lots.
Another question, did the fire department statement about a letter of support, not being able to give a letter of support, does that affect your client at all?
Like our client?
Yeah. Is that a problem for your?
No. No, he also said that they can serve lot 1 and 2 from the road, and acknowledge that lot 4 and 7 are within 200 feet of the road. I think it ended up being more of a statement of this project and projects like this. Just so you know, we're not going to be able to give a letter of support. They'll still end up coming to any emergency there.
Anything else from the board?
The only other thing that we received is the Jericho Conservation Committee had looked at this project. They've had no comments or concerns. An email to that effect was forwarded.
I'll open this up to anybody physically here. Have any public comment, questions? Okay, is there anyone online?
Yes, there is. Let's see if. So if anybody has a question or comment, please raise your hand and we'll admit you. And if you don't, your time has expired.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
No, that's okay. You want to make a motion to close?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we're going to new business.
But we have a motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Right.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, the item of new business for the Hendee Trust at 136 Packard Road. Okay. Right. Yeah, okay. Thank you. This is where the bars held. This is. All the stuff you need more.
Barn. He's got a fair amount of stuff in there when he was a contractor. Well, I went in there 9 months ago or whatever. But
I was hoping you could give me what I wanted.
after the sale.
Well, you just know.
All right. The. Ready?
Yep. David Burke, O'Leary Burke, as you said, this project is for the Ivan and Margaret and the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, Revocable Trust. Sadly, Ivan did pass away since he approached us on this project, and his daughter has been kind of spearheading it, helping out with her mother. The parcel was Ivan and Margaret's home on 8.92 acres in the low density residential district at 135 Packard Road. The proposal is to retain the existing house on 5.56 acres of the parcel known as proposed as lot 1. And propose a new 3-acre single family lot for lot 2. We were in for sketch quite a while ago. It was last July 23rd. And the existing driveway will continue to serve the existing home. And there is a driveway shown for the new lot, which is at an existing curb cut with an existing culvert. I met out there. I think you since have lost your road foreman, but I met out there with the former road foreman.
Yeah, we have a road foreman, but have you pulled the curb cut yet? No,
No,
it's existing, yeah.
it's an existing curb cut. He said it would be, I would submit a paperwork for a revised curb cut, revision of use, basically, that it was an access to farmland as part of the overall Hendee lands in the past.
Right.
And now it would be utilized for the home.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
But, lot, you'll see on the plan there's an easement on lot 2, the new lot, for a future replacement system for the Hendee home.
Can you just show me where lot 1 and lot 2?
Sure. So lot 1 is here and comes along the driveway there. And the square lot here is lot 2.
Where's the existing?
The existing home is here.
And his septic.
And there's existing septic system just outside the home. And this is a future replacement area for that and a mound system for that lot. The
Where the well for lot one
the well for lot one is located right here. And the well proposed for lot two is here. The application, the application does require a state wastewater permit. That's the only state permitting for this proposal. And I think Graham from our office had just sent out it's required to send out notifications to abutters of any overlap. So you'll see there's an overlap below on the proposed well for lot two. There's an overlap, the septic system across Packard Road. So those go out. There's a week period before you submit the actual wastewater application. So we should have the wastewater application in about a month, or the permit in about a month. Received and reviewed the staff comments. As usual, I will go through what I think you want me to stop at, and please ask me any questions, or if I skipped something that you thought I should talk about. On page 2, departmental review and comments, I think there's a carryover in the last sentence from sketch plan. It talks about pursuing it beyond sketch, and we are at final with this proposal. On page 3, 10.12.5.3 talks about municipal, state, federal agencies. Again, we will need a wastewater permit under that condition. Into page 5, section 10.12.9.4 gets into legal documents. As stated, draft deeds have not been drafted yet. Typically, the board's been okay with that as a condition. What would happen here basically is for them to be able to sell lot 2, there would be a new deed written up for lot 2. Lot 2 would be encumbered by the easement for the future septic area to lot 1. Lot 1 would be a revised deed, and it would benefit from that same easement. That will likely happen in combination when they have a buyer, which attorney is going to do that. And that's typically, if you're okay with it, that's a condition where that's necessary prior to pulling a building permit, in this case for lot 2. Plat recording, section 10.12.10.1, we're aware of the 180 days. I would be touching base with the Hendees, but I would expect that it would be well in advance of that they want us to file the Mylar. I'm now on page 10 and talks about section 11.4.8.4. In order to minimize land use conflicts, Development Review Board may require vegetative buffers or other mechanisms to separate building lots, subsequent development from ag or forestry operations, rec areas, critical wildlife habitat. There is no ag or forestry operation, recreation area. There's no known critical wildlife habitat, no mapped critical wildlife habitat here. We're proposing a conventional lot. It meets lot frontage, meets lot area as a conventional lot for lot 2. It's a wooded lot. The green line that you see there is the typical clearing limits. It's basically house, septic, and reasonable yard area around that. So there's no cutting that's being proposed within setbacks. So I don't think that there's anything additional that's necessary for buffering. Section 11.7.1, again, we'll need the wastewater permits. Same with 11.7.4.1, and talks about the easement, which we hit on. Section 11.82 says the DRB may require minimum planning up to 3% for site plans. This isn't a site plan, it's a subdivision plan. So what I already stated as far as the approximate clear limits and the wooded nature of lot 2, I think covers the landscaping requirements. Just standard on section 1111, standard residential lighting. Nothing else there. Understand on section 1112. First, it talks about overhead lines. There are some overhead lines. You can see the OHE that extends from the upper left side of the page there and goes over to serve the existing Hendee parcel. So that's an existing overhead line, and you can also see it branches off and serves the parcel to the, I think it's to the north.
Why does it end in the middle of that hill?
Just because that's where it terminates to serve the Hendees.
Oh,
We would, per your requirements, we would be underground. I would guess what happens is after a final approval, we submit to power company. I would guess they would come off this pole, but it's up to them. And understand that that new line would have to be underground to serve lot 2. On stormwater, we do have some standards on the plans as far as erosion control. Basically, it'd be a silt fence on the edge of the tree cutting on the low side closest to Packard Road. But the proposal is less than a half an acre of new impervious. It's less than an acre disturbance, so it does not require a construction general permit or a state stormwater permit. As I said, the culvert for the driveway is existing and the curb cut's existing.
culvert for the 12-foot driveway you're showing here.
Yep.
That's existing.
Yep.
That's the one that's there. Is there, you're getting an alternative use to it.
Yes, Ivan explained to me that that used to be the farm access when all their lands was farmland. So their houses were down across Brown's Trace, and that was the access to this portion of their land.
New road frontage on lot 1.
The frontage on lot 1 is in excess 369 feet approximately. And I believe the requirement is 200 feet. It's larger because we're going with a conventional 3-acre lot versus a PUD proposal here. I can get the exact if I look at.
You're asking about lot 1?
Lot 1, right?
Oh, lot one, at the frontage only has, and we talked about this at sketch, only has 64 feet. It's a back lot, so your regs don't particularly address this proposal, but your regs allow a 30-foot easement. And you can see that I missed it actually when I talked about the septic easement, because it follows the existing driveway above the utility pole in the center. A portion, we've got a proposed 30-foot access easement there because a portion of the existing drive is going to cut across the back of the new lot.
Does lot 1 go all the way to the road?
We did lot 1 all the way to the road. We talked about this.
Oh, you have to meet the.
We talked about this as sketch. We talked about it at sketch that if you're allowed to have a 30-foot easement there, why give all the frontage to lot 2? Why not let them own their driveway for that part? If that's.
You can create lots with no frontage as long as they have access
To that lot.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so he just opted to keep ownership.
Because the drive could keep ownership there and because we could get to the 3 acres on lot 2 without swallowing up that driveway, that has been the proposal. We did come in for, I won't call it voluntary, optional sketch last July. And we did discuss the difference between that being a little different, but a 30-foot, if a 30-foot easement is allowed, my opinion was that this would certainly be acceptable if it's better than a 30-foot easement. And that's why it's a 30-foot wide easement where it does cross the back of proposed lot 2.
Reason you can't keep the whole driveway on lot 1 is what?
I would have to, so if I did a line here along that side of the easement and put that as part of lot 1, I would have to pick up that land somewhere else. And the only place to pick it up would really be back in here. So it would affect that, it would start to affect setbacks in the existing septic system for the Hendee home. Basically, those triangles would be swapped. And so if you can envision that triangle being swapped over there, you're right up against the house.
Is there a water main on that Packard Road?
There is a water main on Packard Road. I don't believe it goes by this parcel. I believe it comes,
Range, I think.
I think it's on the other side of the road.
it is on the other
It's on
side.
that road.
Yeah, there is.
The houses, there's a couple houses down, where Brown's Trace and are connected, and then one on the other top.
Right, so there is municipal area, it basically goes up and it connects to properties on Morgan Road.
I was just wondering.
And I think the storage, we had to look at the storage and the elevation. It's, you know, it's only about a 10-foot high water tank there. So there would not be pressure
No,
to supply this property. Yeah,
The,
as far as the 50 feet, it's on the other side.
on this, the side of the road that this lot is on is a gas main that is sometimes in the right of way,
When
sometimes
it goes
in
in
the
the middle
road.
of the road.
That's a whole nother.
Sometimes they go where they
Wow.
want to.
That's gonna change.
Section 11-12-9-4, we hit on legal documents. Typically, again, that's a condition building permit. In this case, would only be lot 2. That'd be the only building permit. And then, staff recommendation is for approval with conditions.
Any questions for the board?
The property plat, I don't know if you have it there, but the property plat shows more clearly the 2 easements that will benefit lot 2. Both the wastewater easement and the yeah, there it is. So the tan one is the 30-foot access easement, and the green is for the future septic. Essentially, you've probably heard me.
Gas is not on their property, gas is in the town property.
You've probably heard me say it before, but on the septic, provided that the existing system isn't failed, which to our knowledge, it's not failed. It's a pretty low bar that the state has, surfacing on the ground, backing up into the house, or surfacing to a ground, to a stream or any water. But you come up with a fully conforming replacement area, you're not required to connect to that builder, connect to that replacement area until such time that the existing system does fail.
Else, Chris, you want to answer?
No,
12-inch ductile iron on there. That's all. According to the village water district.
Okay, are there any public comments on this?
May I just ask a question?
Sure.
State your name for the record. Just because I'm trying to follow the septic system.
Tell us who you are.
Duh. With the second, oh, I'm sorry. I'm Ann Kramer and I live on the property 132 or 131 Packard Road. So I'm abutting
To the
property.
Yeah.
And I just was curious that the proposed septic system is more or less given an easement in case it's needed in the future. But it wouldn't necessarily be built unless it was needed.
That would be correct. But the scenario, they could build it once it's approved, they could choose to build it at any time. They're required to build it if their system fails.
Mhm.
But if a new buyer came in and said, I'm gonna do all this work to the house, I don't know much about this existing system, I'm gonna put the new conforming system in. They don't have to wait, but they can wait.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other public comments? Any public comments online?
Again, if there is, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you.
Let's call for the board. We're good. Yeah, get a motion closed.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Well, second item of the business is 105 Bolger Hill Road.
I'm gonna actually wait till Chris brings up the plan. Maybe we'll do it that way.
I did speak with the, I did speak, with the daughter, there's no rules. To let me know, your previous interest,
Yeah,
so maybe she'll contact you.
well, I had a very brief correspondence, but nothing recent, so
Okay.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I just, she wasn't really, the school was not really sure what's.
Yeah,
Plan.
okay, all right, thank you.
What's that?
Yeah.
I'm Joe Flynn from O'Leary Burke. I'm here, we're here representing Brendan Driscoll on a sketch plan hearing for a 3-lot PUD. Before we get into it too much, I do want to get everyone oriented on the site. I'm not as tall as Dave, so I tend to use a pointer. But anyway, this parcel is located at the very end of Bolger Hill Road. This is Bolger Hill Road right here. Okay, right where my pointer is right now, that's the end of the Class 3 road. This section right here is a Class 4, based on the town highway plan and so on, of Bolger Hill Road. So right now, this is the unmaintained section. All right, our parcel is this flag piece that's shaped like this. Chris can give us an overview now. So this is what we're having a hearing on tonight.
The town that's up, so what town is below there?
Jericho.
Oh, I saw
Yeah.
your map. I thought that was the edge of Jericho.
No,
Okay.
no. So overall, we have roughly a 28 acre parcel based on the tax map. One thing that's distinct about this is we have a split zone parcel right here. Okay. So one of the considerations, or the major consideration for tonight, is how to address the density and based upon the split zone parcel. We're here hopefully to go over other items, so basically confirm our the way we're looking at this for density. What we had based on a cover letter and so on and addressing is this area right here is a low density residential, which is the 8.3 acres. Low density residential has 3 acre zoning. The remaining piece is in the forestry zone, which has 10 acre zoning. What we are proposing is a 3-lot PUD in this area. And our discussions with Chris prior to this meeting was, he suggested we should kind of define how we're looking at this and so on, and how we can meet the density requirements for both zones. So basically what we're looking at right here in the low density residential zone, we have the 8.3 acres. In that, we can put 2 3-acre lots. So we can satisfy the zoning and still have 2 3-acre lots. In the forestry zone, the remaining 19.8, we can almost get 2 10-acre lots. So as we're looking at this right now, we're proposing that, although 4 is a possible, we're only proposing 3 as a PUD. Can we go back to the overall again, Chris? So, again, we're asking for a PUD in a split zone parcel. We do believe our interpretation of the zoning regs is satisfied in looking at the only 3 lots, with the possibility of 4, all right? One of the primary reasons also is going with only 3 is the access, okay? Fitzgerald Environmental has already been on the site, and they've identified some environmental constraints through here. With those constraints and the availability of accessing this, we're looking at only doing 3 lots, which keeps us within the driveway standards. Because we're only doing 3, we're staying with the driveway. Basically, overall, we've, in our work with A&R and wetland crossings and so on, they are conducive to providing access to this lot for one house. They won't say you got a wetland to cross and we have wetlands to cross. They will not say you can't access your lot for one lot, for one unit, okay? In Jericho, we're allowed 3 off a driveway. So if we stay within that driveway standard and we do 3 lots, we believe A&R will be conducive to the crossing and impacting here. Anything more of an impact, if we go to 4, if we just do 4, we go to a town road standard, which is higher impact. A&R could very well say, you know, this, you have to have another option. So again, the confirmation of the overall zoning and the driveway standards and crossings are the 2 major things for discussion.
So A&R has said you can cross that wetland?
Typically, no, we have not have confirmation that because we haven't gone to the proposal. But typically we find that's a situation. Again, if this is an existing lot and you have the ability to build on it. A&R has been conducive to 1 crossing or a minimum impact to get to it. But again, as you build a town road, it's more impact. Whether we do 1 or 3, it's the same road standard.
12 feet.
12 feet.
A&R has,
Dave, why don't you come up here so they can like pick you up this?
so A&R, it's first avoidance and then minimization. So the avoidance can't fully occur here. It's mostly buffer impacts. It's not really very much at all direct impacts.
Can you zoom into that area, Chris, right there?
So you can see just on the area that Joe had to the right, we're right up against the edge. Once we do final plans, the question will be, is there any actual direct impact? But it's, as it looks right now, the question is, we may be able to do this with just buffer impacts. A&R historically, you avoid first, you can't fully avoid the buffer impacts here, and then you minimize. So the minimize is going to keeping to the driveway standard and not going straight through the center of that strip of land, you know, kind of wiggling around that. So historically, they're good with it. You know, as you know, in Jericho's sketch is voluntary, and the fact that Fitzgerald Environmental's already been out there was because Joe and Brian Courier recognized that we've got some constraints here. Let's try to work around these constraints.
I do believe the letter from the Conservation Commission, this is what basically they centered upon right here too. So, you know, this hopefully will address some of their concerns.
Yeah, I believe we also saw like the staff notes, which show the other overlays that come into play. So yeah.
Right, but again, as you know, we're trying to minimize this by having just 1 access through here.
And that driveway is already there.
No. So this section right here of the town class 4 road will be upgraded to a driveway standard, and this will also be the driveway standard.
What's there now?
I think there's just a slight trail there.
On
Where's
class
class
four.
four?
Oh, class 4?
What is that?
It's not much more than a trail.
So basically the town currently comes up to, the endpoint, where Joe's pointer is. They basically stop plowing, they back up into the, last residence driveway, turn around and go back down the hill. So, where the town has had similar instances in this is at the end of War Road, to, allow, access to lots that were created at the end of War Road within the town right away.
You be inclined to putting some pull-offs for people passing and/or fire trucks or whatever?
Yeah, we will address that. And once we get hard survey data on the situation through
You
here,
got a place to put it if you needed to.
yes. Yeah, once we get some hard survey data, we'll cross that. But again, it's the overall premise of this and how we're coming up with the density that we're hoping from feedback from the DRB.
You don't need to go through the vernal pool as alluded to in the email.
There also, I see you noted, Joe, a class 3 wetland along the flat there, and then there's one on the right there where the elbows in.
Yeah, these are pocketed class 3 wetlands that Fitzgerald Environmental designated, and again, it's non-jurisdictional, so.
Is that one on the right there where it elbows? There's a little.
That's a-
triangle.
Yep, right there too.
That's also 3.
Yep. And there, I think if you go farther to the east, northeast, I think we had some more pocket ones up in here. But the purple is all class 3.
And with full design, that one at the corner could possibly be avoided, even though it's not jurisdictional, if we
Correct.
can avoid it.
I guess, I mean, looking at that, there's a clear like swale or stream.
Oh, that's,
Down the hill, like right onto a lot there.
Going.
yes, yes.
You see that being an issue for potential development on lot 1?
Not really. Again, we're looking at the concept right now. A lot of this stuff is as far as construction, how we grade, what we deal with, actually with stormwater, because I do think with the length of the driveway, we're gonna be over the half acre.
Yeah.
So all those hard numbers will be addressed. If we move to the next phase.
And so the board knows, just to pick up on your point, Andrew, there's riparian, river overlands, riparian buffer, there's things along those lines, which basically are incorporated in the staff notes that they'll have to develop within their formal requests, just to make sure that everything works and functions.
So with this, lot 4 would just be open space to benefit the other 3 lots, or is that?
Yes. Based on the PUD, we have to do at least 50%, and I think this was roughly 68% right now.
One of the slides, or no, it was this plan when we were looking at the density plan. You said that it's 10 acres, but it was almost 10 acres. And, so it shows at 19.1. Does that affect the density calculations at all?
Well, again, we had a little discussion back and forth. We've got 8.3 here on this side, and we're only using 6. Do we just chuck the other remainder? We're saying we come very close to the 10 that we should be able to apply the other.
So you could strike a division line right down the zoning district line and do 1 and 2.
Yes,
It could be done.
yes, it definitely could be done, although it's a lot more road to do anything
I
like that.
know, but it can be done.
Yes,
So,
really, yes.
I think to answer your question, Andrew, basically you've got a total acreage of 28 acres, right? So the density plan there shows 26 acres. So basically, you've kind of got 2 acres that are floating, right? So you could actually have that bottom lot be split zone with, 10 acres or 11 acres to allow that, even though it's split zone. So.
I know we're talking about the whole parcel. I just want to make sure that I wasn't sure if there was something specific about what was allowable in each of the districts based on.
Right.
If you looked at them independently and you went to your section 10.13.7 and said that that was a subdivision line along there, it's not, but if you said it was a subdivision line, so I think this works the way that that they're showing it, but the other way to look at it would be, say, that 8.3 acres subtract 25% per your regulations, you're left with over 6 acres. So you always have 2 lots there. The other one, if you did the same, you'd have the 1 lot. And then you're allowed, if you've got adequate water and sewer, you're allowed a duplex on each lot. But I believe these are proposed single-family
Single
lots. So you get to 3 if you do it that 25% way and just say, pretend these are 2 different parcels.
And this is a little different than one we had previous, where we have distinct differences in the actual works, the minimum zoning sizes actually work in each zone, where the prior one we had, it did not. That's why this one's different.
So the argument here is that because it's a PUD, therefore you can use the smaller lot sizes in what is the forestry zoning district. Basically, right?
Yeah, we could actually do smaller lots.
Yeah.
We could actually do smaller lots than what we're proposing.
They also have the ability to ask for a density bonus. So their density bonus request for 3 lots on 28 acres would be a density bonus of, 0.2 or 0.3
Yeah.
to get there. And so there are mechanisms to get them there, and they're basically just wanting to confirm with the board that that the proposal that we're looking at right now, does seem to have some viability, and there are options for them to pursue, whether it's without a density bonus or with this in a driveway, things like they discussed. And because we're at sketch, the board's welcome to either give them verbal comments, or when we go into deliberative with the other 2 projects, if there are comments that we want developed to be forwarded to them, like we've done in the past for sketches, we can do that as well. So
Just to reiterate, the, seeking a density bonus and so on, again, because of the driveway situation and so on, it's almost a moot point, because we want to try to hold to the 3, so we stay in the driveway.
I was saying if they said, if your overall acreage, right, say it was in the forestry zone, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You could do 3, you can't do 3 lots, but if you ask for a density bonus,
You can, yes.
then you can get to that 3rd lot. And so there are a few different avenues that they can pursue this, so.
Yeah, I think your cleanest per previous PUDs is to pretend it's 2 separate parcels. Take that 8.3 acres, subtract 25%, you're left with more than 6 acres. That's 2 lots. Take the acreage on the other side, you're 1 point something, it rounds down to 1. You're still at the 3 single-family lots. And then there's minimum lot sizes, Jeff, for each district in a PUD. And Joe's got those exceeded with what's shown as lot 1, 2, and 3.
So the forestry district, what's the minimum lot size per PUD?
It's half acre.
Half acre. And I think this is the other one's a 3rd.
And then in combination with a minimum of 50% open space. So your regs, just like most towns, encourage PUDs because you get the protected land. And I think Joe said 68% here.
Yeah, we're
So-
looking at 68%. And then again, the zoning rights definitely highlight that in these zones, these 2 zones, PUDs are definitely preferred.
Is that back under the range, that land?
Yes.
So where's the range?
And I think it wraps on this side too. I think this is all the range. Both sides.
Not exactly, in a town where we need more open space. You're not adding much to the town by giving open space on the back side of Bolger.
Letting open space that you can legally go to, Jeff. I mean, if you're over there, that's a whole other matter.
If you hear loud noises, you might want to come back.
This doesn't allow the public under the.
It's a buffer zone.
It's a PUD, they can restrict.
Well, they can have
have.
private open space, or they can have public open space, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there are options.
I have a question. I mean, maybe that's a good question of, with that being, government land over there, I mean, is the impact on the driveway? I don't know if is there an existing fence there, or is it?
Yeah.
If there's impact in making the driveway, that probably has to be restricted to not going over that boundary line, right?
Are you saying
Along that, yeah, that boundary.
Yeah, the federal government, no.
Across federal land.
That land was condemned and taken.
I know, there's areas.
Even if it was private land, we
Yeah,
can't go over
yeah.
that line.
No, without a deal.
Where is the fence? Is it right on the land, right on the property line?
So again, we haven't put boots on the ground yet, but this is based on, but there must be something along here, and I don't know, maybe Brendan can offer something.
There's a fence that basically does say federal property, no trespassing, things like that. If you drive down Nashville Road, you'll see similar signs, and that's to mark that way as well.
I'm assuming there's power coming up the existing road. Would the power, as it makes its way, can you bury that under the driveway? Or would that have to be off the side of that driveway? I'm just thinking about impact again to that.
Wetland people might want you to where you're impacting, I guess.
Yeah.
Usually within the footprint,
Yeah.
so you always have a little bit more than the drive, but usually within the footprint.
What's on the other
You
side
do 3 lots to get.
of the range, that's just all woods for a long ways?
Yeah. Yes. So,
How many feet is that of improved driveway you think you have to do?
How many?
Roughly to where you got it.
so I wrote down, hold on, I can tell you what I have for numbers. I wrote it down. I think the first one, this was 11, and this was 15. Yeah, 1,500. So there's a decent amount of driveway.
Yeah, it's the slopes. Yeah. But sell 2 lots to pay for the driveway.
Sometimes
Don't
that happens.
discourage anybody.
Sometimes that's true.
Might be early to ask this question about just development of 3 lots, but with wetland buffers, if you have a permit to do that, well, how does construction impact that? Like, if you were to develop 1 lot, I mean, you just finish the whole driveway, is it done? I'm just thinking about trucks going over there over the course of many, many years and how that could impact that. Maybe I'm sure the state would write that in.
Well, again, the premise is this road will be built once, okay? And once that road is built, once we obtain whatever we need for permit, that state Bergen said, we may be able to stay outside of it. We don't know yet. But once that impact is made, we're good as long as we don't expand upon that impact.
The state wetlands permit will be required regardless because there's definitely buffer impact. The question is, can we avoid any direct impact?
Driveways feasible towards the end there? I mean, I see a ravine going through this, it's just a small swale.
Yeah, based upon, again, we haven't ran a profile or anything yet, but that's one of the considerations because of the 10% standard. We do think that we can chase it and make this work based
You
upon.
can get up to those lots with it staying within the 10%.
You're gonna have to.
We're gonna, yes, Chris said, we're gonna have to.
Well, I think if there's, okay. If there's no way to do it, then it's you.
Yeah.
I'm Brendan Driscoll. I'm not trying to hide over here.
Well, let's just go so we can get your voice. Yeah, thank you, Brandon.
I'm Brendan Driscoll. That road right now, you could like drive a pickup out there right now. Like it's been used, like we got firewood out of there and
The wood room.
yeah, it's a wood, yeah, if you go down there, I mean, you walk down it, there's a stone wall, like it's a road. Like the spots where the wetlands are there, like I know on a drawing, you assume like wetlands, but they're literally like the ditches on the uphill side that, on the range side, there's a lot of wetlands and then they kind of stop and it's a stone wall along that line. Those the red class 3 wetlands are like ditches on the uphill side of the road that were flagged. Like it's not like, you're not like driving through a swamp. Like you can drive out there right now, like on
Not
Hard
that
Road,
hills.
right?
Like 90 5% of the other protected wetlands in the
Yeah.
state. You wouldn't know they're wetlands
Yeah.
unless you're a specialist.
Or you're a doctor.
And actually, the vernal pool, I don't know when this happened, but the vernal pool that's on that corner is a pretty much a it's a vernal pool, but it's a man-made vernal pool kind of. Because if you go to the end of the town road, there's like piles of dirt where they like pushed up dirt, maybe to close access to the range, or I don't know what it was then, but they like pushed up piles of dirt. And on the other side of that, or maybe they pushed it from that side and created a hole, but there's like a pool of water there. And
That's what
so,
Evan's calling it, right? Evan Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Evan.
There aren't many around.
yeah,
Any other comments from the board? So they're looking for feedback. Does anybody, I like the explanation. I don't see my point that that it's not feasible, If you're doing a PUD, the math, gets you to the three lots, right? So. Anybody else have a different opinion? No.
I
agree.
Excellent.
Obviously, if the plan goes back, I mean, the access isn't gonna end here. There'll be some form of access that's gonna show how they get to the lots.
Yeah.
That's when they get boots on the ground, and some of those unanswered questions will be answered.
It'll likely include some easements, because it'll probably have to have some switchbacks, so the driveway serving lot 1 and 2 probably will be partially across lot 3. You'll zigzag up the hill to meet the standards.
Even the lot configuration,
Down the hill, right? Isn't it going down?
Down the hill, yeah.
even the lot configuration may change once we
Yeah.
delve deeper into this. Again, this was mainly two premises, was the access. And do you concur with our assessment of how many units are allowed?
Your bigger challenge is just, working through the state, running your way through the wetlands, stormwater, wastewater, anything else.
He's so rosy tonight, isn't he?
I know.
Just saying.
Well, he's making Jericho be,
They know.
Jericho's the good kid.
That's a long driveway. Long, 5 hours, but. No,
Yeah, Jericho sounds like the good kid right now.
Anybody have anything else on this?
You're just glad the house Christie doesn't have that 800.
I know, it just, I mean, there's
The back
a bunch of information that needs to be developed.
proposing to
Yeah, try, say yes or no.
and make it count.
Well, let's see if the public got anything. Anybody in the remote audience? Okay, thank you. Wait a minute, I got a hand up now.
Hi, folks. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, my video doesn't seem to be working. This is Tom DePietro, 102 Bolger Hill Road. I realize it's a sketch plan review, so I just have one quick comment. I'd always hoped when this property got developed, it would address the fact there's no turnaround at the end of Bolger Hill Road.
Could you speak up a little louder to your mic? It's hard to hear you right now.
Yep, sure. Just one quick comment, realizing it's sketch plan. I'd always hoped that when these properties got developed someday, it would address the fact that there's no turnaround at the end of Bolger Hill Road. And so maybe that's something we could look at a future meeting.
Okay.
How does a plow turn around right now?
Use a
Uh,
driveway.
It's in my driveway, which is, not a big deal, but I just hope we could resolve that in the future with this development.
You could do it in one of your driveways.
Take it all the way.
He said it was
All
his.
right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tom.
thank you.
Anybody else along with a question? Okay,
Oh, I guess I got rid of it. Maybe you got rid of it.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Items we have one more item, which is to approve the minutes.
Now, the minutes be approved.
I do suggest to Chris a correction of the word alley. Yeah, we could do that. You with that change, I second.
There's one more thing on, double check, there's something, line 149, first word.
Which page? Oh, 49? You say,
RHERE. I don't know if that's supposed to be there will.
Might have stuff.
Probably there.
I'm slipping.
I'd be there.
Do her job.
It would be there. It's, yeah, so that's there.
I mean, it's officially my name. but-
And the next line is alley. Okay, got it.
Sorry, Phil. Okay.
He spends more time on my stuff.
Yes. I got
So
lazy.
we have any sort of motion with those corrections?
I'll move that the minutes be accepted with those changes.
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, who seconded it? Did you have to copy?
All in favor of accepting the minutes with those changes? Aye.
I,
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to, oh. Hey, Tom? Tom? Tom, can you hear me? You gotta unmute yourself, Tom.
August the 8th.
Tom?
Yes, good evening.
So, the Bolger Hill hearing just closed. The applicant, has seen your, email. They will be in touch with you when they, have a more formal, ask for the Conservation Commission to address. And I think some of the issues you raised will be included and or answered at that point in time. Unfortunately, because the applicant has left and we have closed that, we can't really take anything from you. And I apologize, the board was more efficient than I thought they would be tonight.
That's fine. I understand.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for taking your time with these applications and considering them and
Dan.
going over them.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
okay. I'll back to you folks.
All right, thanks, Tom, for being patient, but you will get a good bite at the apple.
Very good. Thank you, folks. Good night.
Good night.
yeah.